Let's discuss about manager parameter. We are in source server. So here is where our manager parameter file will be. So mgr.prm. Okay, this is manager parameter file. You need to specify the port the manager service will be running. Okay, this is the port. This is the default GoldenGate port for the manager process. You can change it to any other port, but make sure that this port is open. Give an exception in the firewall to open this port. Okay, because the processes on the other side of the GoldenGate, for example, data pump has to communicate with manager to allocate a server process, collector process. So data pump should be able to ping the manager process on a particular port. So manager port should be open for other GoldenGate servers. GoldenGate recommends to use different port because this is a published port, but as long as your servers are in a secured environment, you are fine with that. Auto start, this parameter which specifies how you want to start child processes or sub processes of manager process. Your extract process, data pump process, replicate process, these are all the sub processes of the manager process. So when the manager starts for the first time, and it can automatically start the extracts and data pumps if you specify auto start. Okay, you can say auto start extract name to specifically automatically start this particular extract. In this case, for example, if I say like this, but you can also say auto start extract start. That means it will automatically start all the extracts. Okay, you can also say extracts and replicates if it is in active environment, and that is auto start. That automatically starts first time when manager starts. But if there is an abend, if a process abends for some reason, then manager can restart that abandoned process. If the process is killed, there is a kill command, kill extract name, or you can force stop a process. Okay, there is a command to force stop a process. In such scenarios, manager will not try to restart that process because that has been killed, that has been forcibly stopped. Okay, manager knows if a process has been abandoned due to some column mapping or connection not found for some reason. There is a TCP ERR file. Let me show you that file. Okay, TCP ERRS. Okay, so here auto restart. Here I wanted to restart this particular extract. You can very well say all the extracts. How many times you wanted to retry? What is the frequency? Here in this specific example, every 2 minutes it tries to restart. How many times? 20 times. That's what this example says. It's good to have this parameter, but you have to think about this parameter. Sometimes you don't want to start all the processes. For some reason you might want to stop some of the process. Probably you may want to start it or continue with the extract after some period of time, and you have a failover from node 1 to node 2, and during that failover, manager gets moved to another node. Okay, and there manager tries to start, and it tries to start the stopped process. So it might be a problem. You have to think about using this option. Okay, but it's better to have this option. This is recommended. Otherwise, if process gets abandoned due to remote server disconnection, sometimes data pump will get abandoned because it cannot pump the data to the target server. Okay, because target server is down, or target server refuses the connection for some reason, the data pump connection will get abandoned. but the connection will be restored. Sometimes the problem will be automatically resolved. There might be network glitch. We have seen several times data pump gets abandoned, and manager will automatically restart the data pump, and data pump starts working. If you don't have this parameter, then you might have data pump gets abandoned for some unknown reasons, or sometimes for a long period of time until you notice that. Okay, so let's talk about TCP/ERR file. This is one important file if we are discussing about auto start or auto restart. This is the TCP/ERR errors file. Here, this is how you specify in which situation GoldenGate should try to restart. If the connection is aborted, then you wanted to retry. Delay 1000. I am not sure what is at C seconds, but it is millisecond or something, which I really don't know. But here are the parameters where it says in what type of situations the retry will happen. If connection is aborted, if connection is refused or reset, or net is down, or shut down, or timed out, no dynamic ports, then you will retry. Here GoldenGate has given example how you want to handle the abandoned scenarios. If you don't want to retry particular scenario, okay, if you comment it out, that means if a connection has been reset, then you don't see the retry. Manager will not retry if connection is reset. You handle the situations you wanted to retry. But how you wanted to retry or how many times you wanted to retry, you have to specify in the manager parameter file. Okay, but TCP/ERR's file, pretty much whatever the event conditions, GoldenGate has listed pretty much whatever the event conditions that can happen. Purge old extracts. This is one important parameter. Over the period of time, extracts will start capturing, extracts might be creating several trail files. You might want to purge it, but how often you need to purge it, things like that, you have to specify this parameter. Here I said whatever the files in dir.dat folder, okay, purge it, but use checkpoints. That means if a process is using a file, or if a extract is abandoned for a couple of days, that means that extract would not have read that trail file. Whichever the trail files that have been read by all the checkpoints, if there are 10 groups, and 10 groups should have read the trail file. Depends on scenarios, if 10 groups are reading the same set of log file, then you might have to. But basically the point is there should not be any checkpoint pending on that file. This is unconditional. There should not be any checkpointing, and minimum keep hours should be 3. Okay, for example, you have one extract and extract is reading pretty fast, and it has read all the extract has created the trail files, and it is creating the new set of trail files. Data pump start reading the extract trail files. So in that case, you wanted to keep minimum 3 hours, and those files should not have any pending checkpoint. If any file meets these two criteria, then go ahead and purge it in this folder. So here the next option is lag report minutes. How frequently the manager process should report the lag in the event viewer. Every 60 minutes, every 1 hour in this scenario, it writes into the event viewer if there is any lag. What is the lag threshold? This is the lag threshold. I said lag critical minutes. If any process lag is greater than 20 minutes, then GoldenGate will consider that as a critical and report that in the event viewer. But GoldenGate will verify that for every 1 hour. It will not verify every minute. This is how you specify frequency to verify the lag, and this is the threshold to check the validate the lag. When we talk about event viewer, there is one option. In the event viewer, you will see all kind of messages: GoldenGate informational messages, warning messages, error messages. This is informational message. Here it says GoldenGate has purged old extract, applying the use checkpoint purge rule. Oldest checkpoint is 3, which is greater than 2. Then go ahead and purge the 2. So it is giving all the informational messages, warning and error messages here. Okay, so I stands for information messages, this is warning message, and there should be some critical message if the service goes down or abandoned for some reason. Okay, so this is a error message. So it says the GoldenGate process is abandoning. So you can decide what type of error messages or what type of messages, GoldenGate messages, that you wanted to log. If you log information messages, really your event viewer will be bombarded with so many information messages. So I would recommend to log the warning and error messages only. Do not log the information message, because it will really kill the event viewer. Sometimes you cannot even open that many information messages might be there in the event viewer. Okay, so how do you do that? How do you suppress the information messages? You have two options. If manager is logging, you can say there is one parameter called syslog. You can put the syslog parameter in any of the process. You can put that parameter in extract process, pump process, or manager process, any process for that matter. Put that parameter in the parameter file. So then that process will not log the information message. So you can say syslog warn, error, error. Okay, if you say like that, then it won't log the information message. So whatever the type of messages that you wanted to log, you can specify there, one warning, error, like that. Okay, so you can put the parameter syslog in any of the process, but it's better to put that in the globals file. If you put the syslog parameter in the global file, then that is for every process in that GoldenGate instance. You can have a syslog parameter in the global files, and you can have syslog parameter in the specific process. Then whatever the syslog parameter in that specific process will override the specifications in the global file. If you remember, we have used the global file to specify the checkpoint table in the replicate in the target side, but in the source side there might not be a globals file. Let's check it out. Okay, it looks like there is no globals file here. Let's go ahead and it says cannot find the globals file. Do you want to create the file? Yes. Okay, so here you can say syslog. I wanted to log the warning messages and error messages. I don't want information messages. Okay, so if you want all three, then you don't need to say global. You don't need to say syslog in the globals file. By default, it logs every message, informational, warning, and error. Okay, this parameter will specify log only warning and error messages. Okay, just save it. If you restart the GoldenGate instance, restart all the process, then it will log only the warning and error messages. Okay. All right. Now let's take a look into a couple of other things. Okay, let's go through the files. What files we have in the installation folder. Okay, we went through the folders in the beginning of the video, but I'll go through very quickly. This is the folder where the checkpoints will be stored. You can see the process name or group name dot checkpoint for the extract CPE. So all the checkpoints for the extracts will be stored here. For the replicates, the checkpoints will be in the checkpoint table, so you don't see that in the replicate side. Okay, but if it is active, then you will see the checkpoint files in both servers. Okay, dat is a place where the trail files are stored. Definitions, defgen source definitions file will be stored. This is the Java objects, probably for the monitoring purpose, I guess. Dir out, we are not, GoldenGate is not using this folder. Process, so process for extract, process for manager. Let's open and see what exactly the text in this okay, so it is logging some messages here. What is the process ID and stuff like that. So it is for GoldenGate internal use. You won't be using that folder much. This is where you store all the parameter files: extract parameter file, data pump, replicate, manager, defgen, all those parameter files you typically wanted to store here. Of course, there is no necessity, you can store it anywhere, but by default GoldenGate has given this folder. This is where the report files, where you can see process report files here. So if the process is abandoned or processing or whatever the stuff it is doing, it will log into the report file. Okay, so you can send the reports. For example, you might want to send a fresh report. Okay, so the report file will be stored here. If you want to have a different folder for report directory, then you have to say while adding the extract. While adding the extract, you can say my parameter file is stored in a different folder. My report file is stored. My report file should go in a different folder. All those the file paths should be specified while adding the extract. We didn't specify anything. We said go ahead and use the default location. Default location. This is the location. This is the installation folder. These are the default location. This is the default folder for report, and this is the default for parameter files. Dir SQL probably for the DDL SQLs. Temp for storing the page swap. If there's a big transaction and there is a swapping, then GoldenGate uses this folder. I do not know much about this dir version. Probably GoldenGate monitoring tool. This is something I have created to store the OB files. OB files are the files where you store the commands, whatever the commands that you wanted to execute. Bunch of commands, GoldenGate commands. You put that in an OB file and execute that OB file. That will execute all the commands, whatever you specify. Okay. User exit examples. Some examples for the GoldenGate. Okay. So category.dll, and there should be ggs dot something. Okay. Ggs error log. Sorry, ggs message. Ggs msg.dll and category.dll. These two files better copy it into the Windows System 32 folder, because when GoldenGate writes an error into the event viewer, it has to write the proper error message into the event viewer. Okay, of course it is not required, but it is recommended to make a copy and paste it into the Windows System 32 folder. Copy into that folder. Then GoldenGate can properly write the appropriate error messages into the event viewer. Okay. Otherwise, it will write some generic error messages which you do not know what's going on. So these are the two files. It contains probably I think the error messages, the event IDs, the error codes and error messages, stuff like that. ggs msg.dll and category.dll. This is COBOL generator for mainframe processing. Conversion checkpoint. If you upgrade GoldenGate from previous version, you may have to upgrade. You have to look into the instruction manual to see if the checkpoint table has been upgraded. Definitely If you are using version before 10.4, you might be having old version of checkpoint table. 11.2, it uses a different version, new version of the checkpoint table. So you might want to upgrade that table. So if you run this utility, then it will upgrade that table. Or if the checkpoint is corrupted, okay, or if checkpoint is deleted for some reason, or you want to fix the checkpoint table, then you can run this utility too for that purpose. DB2, probably for DB2 database. DDL replication. The bunch of DDL.tpl, these are for DDL replication. DDL is supported for Oracle, not supported for other databases. But if you want to replicate DDL for SQL Server, there is a workaround. There are some procedures that you can follow to replicate the DDL, okay, which I'll explain later. DDL COBOL, DDL Gen, these are for DDL replication purposes. DefGen for generating the source definition files or target definition files. I will create a separate video of DefGen. If source and target tables are different in column order or either way data types, then you have to do a mapping. Okay, so for that you use DefGen to create the metadata definitions of the table, source table or target table, and give this definition file to the process, either the data pump or extract or replicate, to know about the metadata of the trail file for the column mapping. Okay, so these are the demo purposes SQLs, which you may not be really needing. I do not know much about EMS, CL&T. Extract, this is very important process, executable. This is the extract or data pump that gets executed. If you say start extract, then this process will be created. One instance of this process will be created. I do not know much about this file. gglog, probably some dump. It looks like there is some, if there is a problem, it will create a dump file. ggsci.exe, this is the interpreter that we use. This is okay, so you enter all the commands, you execute the commands using the ggsci. So the number of ggsci interpreters you open, you will see that many processes will be running. ggserror.log, this is the error log file for the entire GoldenGate instance. When the extract is abandoned, or data pump or manager or anything happens, any process abandons or starts, then it will create a report file in the dir report file. It will create discard file if you set up a discard file. But an entry will also be made into this file. So you can also take a look at this file to see what went wrong, what happened, if the process is abandoned or stopped for some reason. Yeah, over the period of time, you will see this file will be very big, because it will log the error messages for every process that is running in the GoldenGate instance. In order to recycle this message, you have to stop the manager, rename this file or delete this file, and start the manager again. If you start the manager, if this file is not there, then it will create a new file, ggsserr.log. That way you can recycle the file. Let's open and see what it has. As you can see, okay, we executed this command. When? At this time. It logs every crap into this this log file. Okay, so after a couple of months, you will see it runs into several gigabytes of data. Okay, it says I have done this, I have done that, you did that, I did this, so many things it logs here. Okay, if you have time, patience, you can come and read this log file. But this is one place where you can find some crucial information regarding the abandoned message, say abandoned process. If you can come and take a look at this file, or if you want to take a look at the error log file from ggsa command, I think you can say ggsebt. Okay, so this is how you view the error log file from ggsi. Okay, generally it's so cumbersome to come and take a look at any file, parameter file, or the report file, or any file from ggsi, but there is a way. In some cases, if you are remoting to a server, you are remotely connected to a server using terminal connection, using for example, if you are using psexec or some putty, you cannot open the file in putty. Okay, so in that case, you might want to browse the report files or the error log files like this. Okay, so in the worst case scenarios, you should be knowing how to view the report files or any files using ggsa command. If the file is big, you have to keep pressing enter or space tab to look into the gigabytes of data. So if you want to quit, press Q, it will quit. So the command is view ggsebt to view the GoldenGate events. So to view the report, what we can do, of course, we can go here and double click on the file. That will open the report file. But if you want to view the report file using the ggsi, then you have to say report ggec01g1. Then it will open the report file here. Okay, press Q to quit. But if you look at the report files, you will see ggec01g1. Okay, this is the current report file. These are the previous report files. As you can see, there are several report files. Every time you start and stop the process, it will create a new report file. Or you can roll over the reports. Okay, you have set up the parameter in the extracts. Okay, to roll over the report every day at 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock, whatever it is. Okay, so to look into all the reports, so you have to come here and take a look at any of the previous reports. Okay, you can look into the current report using ggsi, but in ggsi I do not know a way to look into the previous versions of the report file. So that is something you have to look into. So globals file, we looked at the globals file. We use global files to configure checkpoint tables and the syslog parameter. So there are some parameters that you can specify in the globals file. So for SQL Server, these two I have found useful, but there are 3 more parameters, I guess, where you can specify that for Oracle specific things. Okay, there is nothing much you can do with globals file. Help.txt, this is the file which contains some help information. You can read. There are plenty of information how to use the commands and what the command does. So it is really useful. I would suggest to read this help file. So how to create, you can see here how to create the subdirectories. So GoldenGate has given some information, what is subdirectories and how to create that, how to use subdirectories, blah blah blah. So there are a bunch of commands and usage of those commands you can take a look at here. Okay, this contains very useful information, and I do not know about these three DLLs. And install.exe, this is the exe to install manager as a service. If you remember, in the beginning videos we said install, add service, add events. That means it will create appropriate components to log the events into the event viewer. If you don't say add events, then it won't log the messages, either error or warning, whatever messages, into the event viewer. So this is the process. This is the executable file that is responsible for adding the manager as service and adding the event viewer messages. Okay, I do not know about these two. Keygen for generating the keys. LD, I created this file, LD file. okay, log dump obey file. I don't want to put this obey file in obey directory because I'm lazy to type obey /ld. Okay, just say ld, then it will look for the file in the installation folder. Okay, so you can take a look at it. I added 4 parameters. I will explain these parameters while I'm giving demo on logdump, but this is where to look into the header. By default, you will not be able to read the header files in detail, so you have to enable the appropriate parameters to view all the information from the trail files. Okay, transaction header, record header, file header, user tokens, GGS tokens, blah blah blah. So GGS tokens are the LSN for the SQL Server, LSN and the transaction ID. These are the GGS tokens, probably SCN for the Oracle, and the sequence number, redo log numbers. User token, these are user generated tokens. Okay, you can send some information from extract file. Okay, you can not only extracts the transactions from the database, you can also create some data in the transaction in the trail file that will get generated, that will be passed to the target. So those are called as user tokens. In the later videos I will show you what are user tokens and how to use them. Basically you can create some data and pass the data from extract to replicate, and let replicate read the user created data. Okay, that is what is called as user token. I do not know about these 2 files. Logdump, of course, very important executable. This is the executable using which we can view the trail files. What is there in the trail file? How many records? I updated a record, but that update is not propagated to the target. It's not there on the target. So you might want to take a look at trail file to see if there is really update record for that particular table in the trail file, or you may want to search something in the trail files, or you wanted to see how many updates happen to a particular table, and what is the average record length. So you might want to find out let us say particular table is being updated 1 million times, inserted 2 million times, okay, and deleted several million times. There are plenty of activity going on for a particular table. You can say stats, stats, and that extract name. Okay, it will give you the statistics, volume statistics. Okay, how many inserts and updates, deletes. But the statistics command, ggsa stats command, will not tell you the average, the record length of the table. What is the record length that is being updated? How many columns are being updated? So what is the length of the record that is being updated on an average basis? Because that is very important in some scenarios. Because a lot of parameters, the batch SQL in the replicate is not that much effective if the record is greater than 5,000 bytes. So that is been defined in the GoldenGate manual. You can see that. Or some operations will not be effective if the record length is greater than something. But you wanted to know how big the record size I am dealing with. If you know the source system very well, then you can look into it. But if you know how to deal with the trail files, in the trail file you will see the exact record length. Like that, there are so many things. Logdump is very useful. So every GoldenGate administrator or a user or a developer working on the GoldenGate must know this logdump tool. I will create a separate video of how to use the logdump, but I have used a couple of times in the just before how to view the trail files. And MGR, this is a manager process. Of course, manager is useful. This is the master process which manages the child process. You can stop the manager if every extract is running, every replicate is running, and every data pump is running. You can stop the manager because you don't need manager. But if something goes down, manager is the one look after every sub-processes, every extract pumps and replicates to make sure if any process goes down, it will take care of restarting it, auto starting it, and assigning a port, or creating dynamically a character like that. Okay, you will not have that feature, but as long as everything is running, you can stop it also. You can stop it. There is no problem. Release notes PDF file. Okay, so you don't need that. Replicate. Replicate, this is the replicate process. Read trace, this is the trace process. So reverse is if you want to undo a transaction in the replicate. Okay, for example, replicate applied 10,000 transactions and you wanted to roll back 10,000 transactions. You wanted to recover, you wanted to go back up to a certain point in the replicate side. Then you can run the reverse utility. This process you can run. You have to give the trail file, the process, the group name, and run this utility, and you say where you wanted to go back. So for example, right now the time is 3:35 p.m. You can say, okay, go back up to 1 p.m. It will reverse all the transactions, and whatever the database at 1 p.m. it will commit that. To undo the transactions on the target side, you can use the reverse. Server, this is the collector process. Whenever the any pump starts, manager will create a new server process. So if you have four data pumps running, you will see 4 server collectors running on the target side, collecting the data for those pumps and creating the trail files. I don't know about this. And the TCP errors, this is where you define in which situations you wanted to retry, in which conditions. Okay, so I don't know about these 2 files. Okay, these are pretty much the files in the GoldenGate software.